Hey, what's up guys, I'm Praetorian and welcome back to Hearthstone 4 as we're playing as Germany. Sorry that content hasn't been releasing more regularly over the last couple weeks. I was working on that one sponsored series with Galactic Civilizations 4, that new expansion that's going to be releasing this coming up week. If you haven't watched that series yet and you like Stellaris or just 4X games in general, maybe consider checking it out. But on top of working on that series, I've also just been working a lot. YouTube is not the only job that I do, and so I've just been working, trying to earn that money. You know, it's a rough time economically for many of us. So yeah, I've just been working a whole lot, and that's the reason why we haven't had as much content as I'd like to have on the channel. However, once I finish up with that sponsored series next week, we should have a bit more time, and we can perhaps also return to the CK3 and Victoria 3 campaigns so we can get those wrapped up as well. Well, let's go and get started in today's episode. Seems that we have an event that we need to take a look at. This is for the cruiser submarine. So there's one event. This is event number 4. Just got some increased naval experience. All right, so that's helpful. In fact, we have enough that we could get a doctrine, but we're gonna wait because remember, we're gonna be changing up the design for that light cruiser since we already have it out of date at the moment. And that's because we changed up the MIO. But there's a few things we need to change in the design. There's a mistake I made, as somebody pointed out. Kind of a major mistake for that light cruiser. And so we're going to want to get that fixed before we produce any more of those. We did get our focus completed excellent, so this is the one that's focused on the airborne troops. Gives us a new branch specialism, which since we already have the paratrooper one, we'll probably use that for the mountain troops. We also get a research bonus for the airborne techs. We can have more special forces, and we get a new military high command person that we can appoint, Kurt Student, and he's probably the one that we're going to get as well if we have the political power. So we're going to get one of these two. Doesn't matter which one we get. I suppose this one gives us a conquer war goal against the Dutch. That one wouldn't really be all that helpful either. Neither one of these are actually needed. But I want to be able to get the other focuses, particularly this one here. So this will give us winter attrition reduction and an attack bonus and defense bonus against the Italian Union. So we'll want to be able to use that once we're at war with Italy. Also opens up the rest of these focuses, so we do need to take it at some point. And it would only require us to do it for 28 days. It's a pretty quick focus, just a month long. So let's go and knock it out before we move to anything else. So let me see if we can hire him. Our airborne assault expert. That's going to require 75 political power. It seems that one of our agents was captured by France. I'm not entirely sure what she was doing. I think she was increasing the fascist support there, which is currently sitting at 12%. So that's unfortunate because you can't really launch a rescue operation because we're already doing a mission. If you recall, we set up that one against Austria, the Prepare Collaboration Government, and that's currently in progress. So we're gonna have to wait until that's done as we don't have any free operatives. I want to keep those two there. I suppose we can move the one from the Netherlands. I can't recall if that requires one operative or two. It's just one. You know what, I think we will go ahead and try and get her rescued. So we'll go ahead and send this character, since he's really good at that as well because he's an escape artist. And so this will require us to get that prepared, and then we'll have it launched as soon as it's ready. Now we do have an unassigned division, so this is one that we got from Iceland. We're just going to put him into our defense army here, and then move him over to the port to protect that. We'll let him train up as well. But I think we might end up using these Waffen SS divisions for our garrison unit, because they might end up being better eventually. Because remember, we still have one more focus here that Himmler's getting. We got an event we have to take a look at there regarding the Hungarians. But this will increase the organization attack and defense for militias. Might result in them being better in some ways. I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to wait until we get that done. He's still quite a ways off. So this is about a reordering of Yugoslavia. And we'll say they have our full support. We'll get some claims on this. Just basically who's going to get what once Yugoslavia is conquered. Might result in them attacking Yugoslavia, which would start the conflict with the 4th International. We'll have to see what happens there. So we have a few things we need to take care of. First of all, we have free dockyards because we did finish up with that light cruiser. So we're going to want to change up the design here. So remember, that was already outdated because we got new bonuses for the MIO. But here's the mistake I made. I grabbed the rapid fire guns, which is for the destroyers, rather than the light cruiser battery. I didn't even notice that, and so those ships are not as good as they could be. They are faster, I suppose, but their HP is a lot lower, as is their light attack and piercing, so we want to make sure we make that adjustment. And you know what, we're also going to get rid of the fire control systems, because the key of this ship isn't really the light attack. The main thing we're using them for is the air attack, the torpedoes, and the depth charges. So this small bonus that we're getting to the hit chance isn't really necessary. Instead, what we're going to want to do is remove the sonar here and replace it with the radar to increase the surface detection, and then we'll put the sonar over here. So I think those are the only adjustments we needed to make. That's going to cost us 18 experience. And we'll continue to use the raiding fleet, even though it doesn't have the production bonus, so that we can get them some funding. So let's go and get that deployed there. We'll keep on building these. That does mean that we got some ships that need to train up here, and we'll also put those submarines into this one here. So we're starting to build out these submarine task force, make them a bit larger, eventually make them all about 10. Since I don't really want more than one submarine commander, at least not in this area. The federal state of Austria reforms the Central Powers. Okay, so that's interesting. I had forgotten to mention that I did make an event where I pulled Austria out of the faction with Mexico, and then also had to make peace with whatever countries Mexico was at war with. I think they're just in this civil war here. So yeah, I fired that event before we started here. And then I suppose I went with that one national focus that results in them creating the Central Powers. So I wanted to show you guys the faction map, as there was another change. Australia and New Zealand left the Fourth International because they're still democratic. So until they go communist, they will not stay in that faction. And that's also the reason why we can't add India to the Fourth International, because they would just leave. The same as what happened with South Africa. You know, they left our faction because they're still democratic. Ethiopia has not left our faction because they're not aligned. It's only really a democratic thing, or they'll leave factions. I mean, fascists might leave like a democratic faction as well. Yeah, it doesn't seem like anybody else is in the Central Powers, probably because everybody who I think is set to join them, which is like Germany, Bulgaria, and Turkey, are already in a faction. So yeah, we could attack them. We have a few things we need to do first. I keep saying I'm going to do this, and I keep forgetting. So first of all, we need to assign Kurt Student here, our airborne assault expert. So that's going to increase their organization for paratroopers after they paradrop, and also increase their anti-air defense. So pretty helpful if we really wanted to focus on those paratroopers. And then we also need to make an adjustment to our medium tanks. We have a bit of army experience, and we haven't yet finished these up. So we should obviously get the logistics companies. Those are certainly going to be necessary. Of course, we already have the recon, the assault engineer, and the armored maintenance company. We can't get the last one just yet because we're short by about 3 experience. So I'd like to get these finished up. Does mean that they're going to have to train. They are short on supply over here as well. This national focus was bypassed to demand Slovenia. So that, I think, is in this route, right? Yeah, that's up here. So that's been bypassed. And so the next one, we could do that, but we won't. Not right now. And there's the fate of Yugoslavia, and then the ones that concern Greece. Yeah, we got 15 days to get that one finished up. But yeah, I want to get these troops finished training, the tanks, before we declare war. Also, best to wait until winter's over. I think that's the reason why we're facing supply issues here for our tanks, is because it's wintertime. So no reason to attack them just yet. And now that they created their own faction, you don't have to worry about them joining another faction. So I don't see any reason why we can't wait until the end of winter. So out of these 3 down here, where you can either improve the anti-tanks, the anti-air, or the artillery, we're going to go with the artillery. This increases their heart attack by 100%. They don't have a very high heart attack to begin with, but it's helpful. It also gives them 5% breakthrough, which is much more than we'd get with this one, which is just a 3%, though that does impact all the different unit types. Yeah, let's go ahead and get this invest the 5 experience to go ahead and get them upgraded now. So that'll make them better at the heart attack. So how about all units that have that regular artillery? So we're now on March. The snows should begin to recede soon. And ooh, you look at this. Looks like Austria just started the war as they declare war on the Hungarians. And El Salvador joined the Central Powers as well. Okay, so still more issues with the fascists, guys. So let's get our focus selected, and I suppose we're going to be going to war with them a little bit earlier than I was intending to. We'll just join the Hungarian war. Yeah, I was going to wait until winter's over, but it's fine. So we're not going to go with the war with France just yet. Not necessary. Can't get this one until we're neighbors with the Italians. So we're going to return to our Air Force focuses, though there are a few here in the Army branch that we still need to get. The Combined Arms one is a pretty good bonus. Well, let's get this one here. That gives us a bunch of good stuff and some new flying aces, and it's only a 35-day focus. Also gets us some air experience for the designing of planes, which we're currently researching the improved small airframe. We'll get that in 48 days. Also, we got another event we need to take a look here. This is the 5 event, and unfortunately it was a bad one. Disastrous results. So we lost some progress there. We did get more experience for our scientists, so there is that. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and join the Hungarian war here. We don't want to join both of them, though. Let me see what's going on here, why there's 2 of the same wars here. So I think it's this one, but we won't know which one it is. And whoa, look at this. So the Austrians are not just at war with us now, they're also at war with the 4th International. So the Italians are going to be invading from their southern front. Not sure what happened. My only guess is that like Italy was guaranteeing the Hungarians, though why would they do that? Because they're in a different faction. I don't even know if they can guarantee them. Maybe it was an event that resulted in them being pulled in, but kind of a weird situation. I'm not entirely sure why it's called the Japanese-Chinese War, though, or why there's 2 of them, nor which one we should try and join here. Let's give it a couple days. Let me see if stuff adjusts a little bit. We're going to slow this down. Right down to speed 4. Just see what happens over here. South Africa just joined the 4th International. That doesn't make any sense. And Peru just joined Austria's faction. Yeah, we got all kinds of weird stuff happening here, guys. Okay. So, kind of an unfortunate situation. We'll give one more day here before we join their conflict. I just want to see if the names change at all. And we'll do it here in the morning. Just a weird situation overall. No, both still called the Japanese-Chinese War. I would assume we want to join this one. If worse comes to worse and we're at war with China, then it's fine. Alright, so I'm a dummy. I just realized I could just declare war on Austria because we already had a war goal on them. So no reason to join that conflict through the Hungarians. I didn't think about that. So now we just need to get our planes overhead. We already have all our troops in place since we assumed this would be the next conflict. So also going to put the fighters over the Alpine region and get them doing the air superiority. We have quite a few close air support as well as some tactical bombers that can do the close air support here. Let's actually move another fighter wing over here. I know that we don't really need that many. Probably overkill, especially when you consider the fact that the 4th International will have planes overhead. I don't know if we'll be able to invade right there with these paratroopers. We can try, see if they're successful. I assume they're going to be protecting that. Let's go and launch it anyway. It's 5 air wings, which they might not be able to go. Yeah, because we're lacking the 1 transport wing. So we'll have to do what we did before and just take them out until we can actually launch this. Might need to pull out another 2 of these. Nope, looks like we can send 3. Since we have been slowly increasing the size of this 1 transport air wing. So 3 can go. 1 might fail. That's just the just kind of part of having paratroopers. Let's go and attack into here with the tanks. Nobody's defending this location. So let's go and send all of our fast units into this location. We'll also send the infantry over here. And one of these guys as well. Alright, so looks like that should be a victory. This is all in the mountains. I'd prefer not to fight them in the mountains. However, there is an opening here. Nobody to stop us. So let's go ahead and have one of these guys actually attack, while the other one will support. So this is the second time we've seen our faction basically helping out against a smaller country, helping out the 4th International. The entire world ganged up on Romania, and now we're all ganging up on Austria. Kind of weird. Weird situation, guys. Not what I was expecting. Let's go ahead and build. In our 80% locations, we need additional military factories. I'll keep them busy for a little while. I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen with the American countries that joined into this conflict. Just taking a look at this currently, we have 81% of the total war participation. Really? I guess it did just start. I'm hoping we can get all of the Austrian territory. I wouldn't be surprised if we're not able to get all of it, though. Let's go and take this location over. With that one Alpine unit we have. I think that's the only Alpine unit that we've got. About to get that unit destroyed. Let's reduce the size of this blue frontier. Not necessary to cover all of that there. And let's go and push into this province. Our paratroopers were successful. Alright, excellent. So we've taken over this province here. And now let's go ahead. I want to be careful with what we're doing here. You know what, those guys are already taking that over, so let's go this way instead. And then these guys will attack here. But we don't want to exhaust the units here. And we'll also attack here. That's interesting that we already have this territory. Did Yugoslavia like agree to give this to us? Yeah, we're occupying it. So apparently they did agree to give us this. So getting control of Austria will connect us with this territory, so I guess that's good that we started this conflict. Let's go and grab this location and this one here. And we'll need to get these troops here wiped out. So let's go ahead and send these guys into the attack here. Also attack right there. That should be an easy victory. Let's go and bring these troops in here. Still waiting to get that taken over. And you know what? Let's go ahead and take over this province with our own troops. And we're even going to attack across that river there. Even though it's not the most efficient way to do this, just keep the units locked down there. Alright, so we're winning in both of these here attacks. So that looks good. And let's go and attack over here as well with these two units and this guy. So yeah, we should have the majority of the war participation. So let's take all the troops that are here and have them move over to this front. And then we'll just take these few units, have them cover this. In fact, we probably don't even need this many, since I don't plan on attacking into here. So let's just take one more and have them go over to this front, because this is where we want to be pushing forward. We just want to defend in this location. I don't want to fight them in the mountains if we can avoid it. Let's go and take over this province here. Whoever gets there first, cut off these troops so they can't retreat. We already got a unit going over towards that one. It looks like we're getting victories all across the frontier. Paratroopers doing an excellent job as well. Then we'll attack over here. So I wanted to take a look and see if we have to defeat these other countries. Just Austria. They're the only ones we have to defeat. And I don't know, let me just take a look if there's anybody that's going to be able to invade them. Yeah, the British would have to do it by sea. They don't border there. Who else is in their faction? Peru. Yeah, they'd have to do naval invasions. So we'll have to see what happens with those countries, but it doesn't really concern us. All we care about is getting our wins here. Just making sure we get as much territory as possible here in Austria. Let's go ahead and push forward. Grab all this territory. And they should capitulate soon. We got some free military factories, also a decision available. So this is a campaign against Austria, completely unnecessary because we basically have won the conflict. With the free military factories, I think we should assign at least one to the trains They're not building those as fast as I would like. Part of the issue is the lack of production efficiency. Maybe get the transport planes a little bit faster so we can make better use of our paratroopers. We need more armored support vehicles, so we'll get 2 more factories going into that. Then we'll also need to invest a bit more in the medium self-propelled artillery. About 15 factories going into the medium tanks. We don't need to trade for as much chromium. I didn't mean to completely stop trade there. Just wanted to trade for 1 factory worth. Alright, so they haven't yet capitulated. Let's go ahead. We don't need this guy to move here. Let's just go and attack with this unit. So we haven't yet cut these guys off, but this will do the trick once we take that location, but not if that division gets over there. So let's go ahead and attack with both of these units here to stop them from moving. So now we just need to wipe out these 2 areas, which is just about done. Let's go and attack there. I'm a little surprised, again, that they haven't yet capitulated. You would think that they would have, given that they lost all their victory points. Bulgaria just got called in. Remember, they're a subject of the Hungarians. So just get those guys wiped out. Don't want to join all the wars, because again, I don't really see the point on helping out with the war against China. Fronts are kind of a mess, but the war should be over soon, so no reason to fix it. I do want to take a look at what the casualties are and our current war participation, which is 86%. Okay, so we should be able to get much of the territory, but perhaps not all of it. We've only lost 276 while we have killed 76,000. That is insane. We've just like ran right over them. And nobody else has really done much. The Hungarians fought a little bit. Looks like the 4th International has been fighting them on this front. You can see the little battle bubbles. But they haven't really done a whole lot. I don't know what's going on here in town today, man. We've got like plane after plane after plane flying overhead. It's a little bit annoying. Have to keep cutting those parts out. So we do need to spend our naval experience. Could try and get another ship design, but I'm fine with just constructing those light cruisers for now. Instead, let's invest in our naval doctrine. We're going to get the wolf packs, as this gives us a bunch of bonuses for our submarines. Still tempting to get this finished up here. Send the tanks in to get that done. Though it probably wouldn't hurt to have another one of these light tanks come over here. Let us take a bit more territory. We want to keep our high... Whoop, a bunch of stuff just happened there. The Austrians were defeated. I don't know what that event was concerning. So El Salvador and Peru are both part of this peace treaty here. We're not even going to concern ourselves with them at the moment. Let's just focus on getting control of this Austrian territory. So we want all of it, if possible. Looks like we should be able to claim it all. We could turn El Salvador or Peru into a subject, but again, I'm sticking with my desire to stay out of the Americas, even when it's an advantage to us, you know, getting like new subjects or new territory. I just don't want to get involved over here at all, guys. We really want to focus on Europe and Asia. And so there's really not a whole lot else to do except for seize control of Peru's ships. It looks like we don't have the points to do that. So let's go and submit our demands first. And demand that, and now we can seize them. We got a lot more points. Not really anything else to do though, since I don't want to take over this territory or turn them into subjects. You could just liberate them, I suppose, although as a fascist country that's not an option. So yeah, I guess we'll just submit our demands here. And that's all we're going to do. I just have to hope that the Hungarians or any other faction member doesn't attempt to take this territory. I'm not sure who went after it. So far, nothing has been done in either of these 2 locations. You know what we could do? We could take it over and then free them. You know, let's go ahead and do that. Might as well. Bit of oil there. But again, not going to take it over, guys, outside of just attempting to free them. So I don't think there's anything else left to do. So submit our demands, and it looks like that is it. So yeah, we'll take that over for ourselves since we're going to free them and not as a subject. And that's just to stop our faction members from doing anything, and it also stops the 4th International from getting stronger, I suppose. So let's go ahead and end the peace treaty. So this must be that event that I saw pop up right before the peace treaty. It's a Mexican resource exchange. Pablo Martinez has offered a trade deal with Germany if Adolf Hitler will agree to send Mexico designs on the latest light and medium tanks we have developed. This seems to be the first stage in closer Mexican-German relations, so even if it serves no military purpose, it may be useful to us geopolitically. Of course, these state-of-the-art tank designs could be falling into the hands of a future enemy. You know what, let's do it. So we get the higher trade relations. This will give them a bunch of bonuses. I don't mind helping the Mexicans out. Why not? Even though we're not going to be, we're not going to be in a faction together. They already have their own faction. Did they finish their civil war up? Not quite yet. So they're still currently fighting that out. They did improve relations with them, so what we could do, if we wanted to, and I guess if we had the political power, is that we could have sent them an attaché. But yeah, we don't have the power to do that at the moment. So we have a lot of things that we need to take care of. First of all, we need to release El Salvador not as a puppet. So we'll release them, and then also Peru. So they shall be free. And look at us, we're such nice fascists. We have a decision available, which is going to get us some extra steel. We don't want to take that at the moment. We're not short at steel. I think we're short in steel. We're doing pretty good. Do have a shortage in the chromium and the tungsten. We'll wait to trade for that, see if any adjustments are made, since we did just get this new territory. And we got new factories, new resources. This green army needs to be put onto the Italian front. Also the Yugoslavian front. These are all going to be separate fronts, aren't they? Yeah, that's unfortunate. Though we don't want to do it that way. We just want it to go across here. And now we'll just kind of spread these guys out. So we'll have, I don't know. We don't need many on this front. Maybe 6. That's probably overkill. And then over here you'll have to have at least 5. But yeah, we'll want to have a bit more than that. Maybe 8. And then you want to send the tanks down here to assist, though they are going to be completely surrounded by us. We'll need troops on this front too. Okay, so we're going to have another army over there to protect our territory here. So I'm not too worried about them pushing forward, because they are completely surrounded by our faction. So I'm actually fine just invading from the north here. And how many does that leave over here? That leaves 10 divisions. But then these 6 can also help out. That's probably a little overkill, actually. Let's just take one of these and have them go over there. And then have them get a planning bonus there. The paratroopers, not entirely sure where we're going to send those just yet. We could invade the Dutch, I suppose. I actually have a new tank army over here, and this one is being led by Rommel. And then we also have a new infantry army, which doesn't really have too many divisions. We need to add any divisions that we've recently trained up. Send them over there. They also need a general. We'll take care of that once the war actually starts. So what we want to do is send Guderian into France, while Rommel will go into the Netherlands. I think that's the best way to go. Again, we're going to leave the east for after we've conquered France and the Netherlands. Then we'll want to send our tanks probably to Italy to get them finished up. Although France might not be as easy to conquer as they often are, since they're going to be getting assistance from the British and the Italians. So we're going to send these tanks over here. Almost want to attack into this area as well to start pushing forward here and cut off the Maginot Line. Let's go after Paris though. We need to make use of our operatives, since we have 2 new ones that were in Austria. And I suppose we'll send them to France to do some different missions there. These are both commandos. So let's go and have one do the propaganda to reduce their stability and war support. And then the other operative will return to boosting the ideology here for the fascist support. We need to stop our planes from flying overhead here. It's going to just take them off all of their missions, so we're not using up any of that fuel unnecessarily. We do need to train these guys up though. And we'll see if there's any other air wings. A lot of these are like old fighters. That's the reason why I haven't put them out there. We just use them for replacements. We'll put the new fighters out there. And you know what? We'll also get another close air support one started up. They can get those numbers increased since we do have some additional ones. They'll do that on their own. Let's go ahead and start the pilot exercises. And then you know what? Let's also get an air wing of those naval bombers, since I saw that we have about 60 of those. And then we'll get those training as well. We do have that army experience that was necessary to make the final adjustment to our medium tanks, the Das Reich. And we could add the armored signal companies, giving us some nice bonuses there, increasing soft attack, hard attack, defense, breakthrough, and also granting the initiative. They're not increasing it significantly. Probably not for the cost and equipment. And I prefer to get the field hospitals. It gives you a lot more HP. You actually get more breakthrough, or at least slightly more breakthrough with those. But more importantly, I want it for the experience loss bonus. Try and maintain experience a little bit better on these medium tank divisions. So this one saved that, and now they're good to go. We also need to make sure that we are careful with our manpower, because that's going to be an issue throughout this campaign. So we are going to have to retrain the medium tanks once they get that new manpower. So we'll get them training. Unless their experience keeps them so they didn't need it. We'll see what happens. Yeah, they will need to train. So we'll set them up to train until they get to that next level there. We can speed it up. Get it back to speed 5. And that's it, guys. No more wars until the main one. We do need to get these submarines assigned here. Pull out any ones that are done training. Let's get those 2 over there. And then get 3 of these into this one here. And these are the ships that we got from, I think it was Peru. Let's just have all of these join the training fleet here. Let them train up. We'll see if there's anybody here that can be pulled out. Nope, we're still training all those. Not trading for any fuel, and you can see that we are full. So we don't need the foreign oil supplies anymore, at least not for now. But I'm noticing that we do need other resources, so we'll have to trade Chile for 1 more factory worth of tungsten. That's really becoming a problem here. And then also get more chromium from the Turks. We have 231,000 manpower, so that's becoming an issue. We are going to have to change up our conscription laws. We finished up the research for the heavy bombs. All right, excellent. Mainly did that for the different projects that will unlock. So we still need to research the different airframes. We're probably not going to get the survivability studies, or at least not now. Armor plates are helpful for the defense, but they also decrease your range. Getting the self-sealing fuel tanks is pretty helpful for that extra air defense, though the weight does result in them losing some of their agility. The problem is that these require rubber, and rubber is already something we're very short on. I still need to get the better engines, also need to get the heavy machine guns. So let's work on the engines first, since those are pretty important. And then I really feel like we need to continue investing in the light aircraft designer, getting them some increased funding. So there's a new event here, and it granted us some increased progress, so always nice to get a bonus. Ignoring those call to arms, we did get a trait for the medium aircraft designer. We'll be starting with the narrow build, because this will increase the production efficiency gain and also grant some air defense. So that'd be helpful, and it seems we're not using those for everything that we could be, because I believe the transport planes, we should be using it for those. So let's go ahead and get this updated here. And I guess we'd want to get that added to the transport planes, just to get, well, it doesn't look like it's actually going to grant, it says all medium aircraft, but the transport planes are not considered medium aircraft. So no reason to assign that then, because you're not going to get anything from it. Okay, that's fine. Means we can save the experience. So it looks like that Civil War in Mexico is finally done with. And Heinrich Himmler has finished up his focus. I thought it would take him a little bit longer to get that done. So this is the last one for our 3 inner circle members. Remember, we could, of course, start with another character to replace one of those 3 if we wanted to, and that unlocks the last 2 focuses here. You get to pick one of them, a strong successor. So this results in Adolf Hitler being replaced as the country leader, and then you can get a 3rd member for your inner circle. That does result in us losing all of the bonuses that we're currently getting from him, also the penalties, but honestly the bonuses are better. So some pretty good modifiers we'd lose access to, and also we can't get this one here, loyalty to the Führer, which would grant even more bonuses for Hitler, and some of these are pretty significant. So let me know what you think we should do. I kind of like just getting these bonuses. I'm not entirely sure what bonuses any of these guys would grant as leaders. I assume you just keep the ones that they currently have, and then it gives you the opportunity to get another, a new member of the inner circle. I don't think any of them are going to grant bonuses that are worth his, because he just has such good ones once you get this focus here. Both of these would only take 35 days. Of course, Hitler is a monster, but so are all of these guys. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Obviously, we're still working on our current focus, and we got time to figure out which one we want. Remember, this one is going to be increasing our militia's organization, attack, and defense. So just take a look and see how these compare now. If we were to just change up one of these to the regular infantry, it's saying that the regular infantry is better, but I don't think it's considering all the bonuses that we're getting for those because the attack isn't being affected. So I don't think that's actually the case. So we'll probably keep these guys for our defensive divisions. So we're going to have to remove probably some of these. We don't really need all this for a defensive division. And then we'll start training these to assign to our ports. Because you know that the British and Italians are going to be launching a ton of invasions against us. We're just going to remove this one here. And that's all we have the experience to do. Just reduce the total cost. I'm also considering removing the artillery. Obviously doing that would result in a big hit to their current soft attack. I don't know if we want to have the artillery in here. Just because the point of this unit is to make it as cheap to build as possible. Well, let's go and get these trained. Train up, I don't know, probably like 10 for now. We have the equipment for more, but manpower is currently an issue. And I want to get more of the medium tanks. We also need more paratroopers. However, I want to get the mountain troops trained up. So we need to still adjust their division design. We have a high need. Let's do a high need for army experience. So our next thing we spend our political power on is going to have to be conscription, guys, which is going to cost us 112. But we're going to have to do it because we are out of manpower. So we just moved into April 1940. Let's go and dismiss all these. We got the signal company, excellent. So I think that's all we're going to get here for now. So next we're going to work on the 1940 medium tanks. Using that medium tank designer, we do have a new trait for the support equipment manufacturer. So we're going to get the increased production efficiency gain. I'm not entirely sure how we're doing on support equipment. We're at plus 1,000, so not too bad, but we're also we got a lot of adjustments we still need to make to division designs, but this is how we're doing on equipment currently. Infantry equipment's pretty good. We only have 3 factories assigned to that though, so we'll keep it as is. Doing good with artillery, so could pull back on that a little bit. So yeah, let's go and take a look at where we've got these assigned, because yeah, I want the trains and the transport planes to get those factories. So let's pull back on the artillery. They only need the 5 factories. How are we doing on the anti-air? Anti-tanks, pretty good. But we also don't have a lot of factories assigned to this currently, so we'll keep it as is. Yeah, I think that's good. Let's actually pull one of those. We'll pull one from the tactical bombers momentarily as well, just to really focus on those trains. I want to get our logistics fulfillment satisfied there. So we do have some extra infantry here. So I don't know that we have enough on this front yet. Though, part of the issue is that we're covering the entire thing. So that could get us 1 division moving back over here. Yeah, the next conflict is going to be against the Fourth International, guys. I don't know who will start it, us or them, but it's inevitable that eventually we'll be at war with them. So this gives us a bunch of bonuses: air experience, another reduction to our air doctrine costs. We'll get more aces, and our planes will have increased agility. Also get a fighter variant based on the improved small airframes, some new flying aces, and our Messerschmitt MIO gets a trait and some other bonuses, so we'll actually need to get that assigned. We've unlocked this focus here because we got control of Austria. It gives a new civilian factory and also some rails. However, we're probably going to want to get this one, German Army Invincible. This improves that modifier that Hitler has. That's another reason why we probably don't want to replace Hitler. I don't know if that would affect the bonuses that these focuses grant. Maybe it's not a problem. I'm not entirely sure if they'll move that over to the new leader. But this will grant us faster division recovery rates and also resistance roast speed. So we can't get this one until we capitulated 2 major countries. That'd probably be France and Italy. Yeah, let's go and start this one. It's a 35-day focus. We also need to get the trait for our light aircraft designer. And although I'm looking at these, I already know that we're going to get the increased max speed and agility. However, we're not going to upgrade that design because we won't be using it much longer. Looks like we only have 13 days left before we get that tech finished up. There's an incoming raid that's detected, oil raid by the French. So that's on our oil fields here in Romania. And so what we want to do to stop that is to assign the fighters here. We can also construct the anti-air there. Speaking of the oil here, we should probably increase the amount of oil that we're getting from the location. That would be helpful. But already we have a chance to repel the raid by 37.7%. But what we might want to do is get some fighters assigned there if the war breaks out. But you know what? Let's go ahead. Maybe we'll do some old fighters there. I'm thinking about it. But let's go ahead and increase the infrastructure in this region just to get a bit more oil. We could take a look at the rest of our territory, see if there's anywhere else we'd want to increase it for resources that we might lack. Mainly the tungsten, so you might want to build it up here. It's not going to grant you a ton, especially when you consider the fact that we don't get most of the tungsten from this territory, so I don't know if it's worth investing in when there's so many other things that we currently need. Yeah, we're good on steel and aluminum, so I don't think we need to invest any further infrastructure, just that location to get the increased oil. But we need to keep in mind that there is this raid possibility. Let's take a look at what's happening over here in China. I really like for this war to get finished up. So the Soviets are also at war with the Chinese. It's kind of strange, right? How the Fourth International and our faction are constantly ganging up on these countries. Again, first it was Romania and then it was Austria, and now they're ganging up on China. Very, very strange. We did capture a Swiss operative, and we also got the improved small airframe. So that means we have several different plane designs that we're going to need to make. We're going to get the heavy machine guns next, using that light aircraft designer. We already got them up to level 4. Also got a new trait for the Messerschmitt. So next, let's get the other bonus to the max speed and agility. Again, not using this. So that'll be what we start next episode with, is the designing of the new plane models, which we did get a few here already. So that might save us a bit of experience. Depends on how many adjustments we have to make to these. Like, we probably won't want to keep the armor plates on those. So yeah, we'll take a look at that and see if those are the designs we want to start with. And that's what we'll be doing in the next episode, and I assume the war is going to start, because I was thinking it would be in 1940. That should be enough time for the French and the Soviets to recover. Yeah, they're currently doing this branch of their focus tree, which is really what they needed to do. That gives them a lot of bonuses, but they haven't started to rearm yet. So this is what they've gotten so far. We can see what they've been doing. Yeah, they haven't done the naval or air focus ones. Okay, we see what they're doing because we have so much intel there currently. We're also reducing their stability. War support is still sitting at 100%. Fascist support is currently 14%. Probably won't be able to see what the British, or the Soviets are working on. Same thing with the Italians, since we don't have any operatives working in their countries at the moment. Yeah, we'll get those planes designed in the next episode, and I assume we'll begin war with the 4th International. Might need to make some further adjustments to the factions, since South Africa, once they go fascist, we want them to join our faction. And then there's also the Australians and New Zealand who need to join the 4th International. They're pretty far from being able to do that. They don't have a lot of communist support just yet, moving a bit slower when it comes to that. But looks like Australia will soon be communist. They're at 49%. There's also this faction here, and hopefully we can avoid any conflicts with them. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up getting El Salvador and Peru, which are both fascist countries that we released. And maybe they'll end up at war with the Americans. I don't know what's going to happen with the United States. We'll just have to wait and see. But they're currently being led by Alf Landon. Okay, well, that's interesting. Yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy today's episode. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. Do hope to see you on the next one. And thanks for watching.